Alright, so we're going to be on Mountain Pass today, guys. This is going to be in a Hawk 30. I've been playing this vehicle so much that pretty much every replay you're going to see is me in the Hawk 30, but what do we have on Mountain Pass? We have a big imbalance, guys. This map is very unbalanced when it comes to this middle area of the map here and spotting this crossing. From the northwest spawn, you're going to have a big advantage because you have this tree and bush here where you can easily light people as they cross over. And if you're in an even 90, you can even try for this little bush right here. A lot of people know about this area. This is not one of these secret bush on Mountain Pass videos. Like, I think a lot of people know you can take this bush and this bush, but you'd be surprised, like, a lot of people don't blind fire here. I do get hit by the Lanson with a blind shot. However, I don't think he was targeting me. I think he was targeting the Scorpion that kept sitting behind me right here, and this is very dangerous. Like, I'm very understanding about this, but if you're he might have gotten lit here, right, when he took this shot. Now, the Lanson could have even been shooting him directly, not even a blind shot, right? Because he probably got lit taking that shot. And now, look, he's sitting right behind me, and watch what happens. I'm going to get hit here. And he's trying to target the Scorpion, right? Already even targeted him, so he definitely was lit. If you're in a tank destroyer, do not, I repeat, do not sit right behind a light tank that is trying to scout. I'm very understanding. This guy might not understand what I'm doing here and all. It's completely fine, but please use common sense and don't sit directly behind someone and fire, right? That's a big no-no. So I just told him, Scorp, don't sit right behind me, brother. Like, I'm very understanding of this. There's some light tank players that will literally hook off in the chat if you sit behind them like this. So please do not do this, guys. If you play tank destroyers, be very mindful of taking a shot and then getting spotted and backing up behind someone. Do not do that, because it's going to wreck whoever's in front of that shot, right? Anyway, we're able to spot the Lance in there. The Artie drops another shell into him. We got damage, or spotting damage, on the VK. Both VKs, the 100-01P and the 75-01K, the Lanson, and also the T28 prototype that was advancing this way. So we missed a little bit of that, but that's it, guys. Like, that's all that happened here. I just sat in this bush with like 507 view range in CVS and 3100 spotting right off the bat, and this is why Mountain Pass is kind of unbalanced, because there's not an equivalent area to do this from the other side. You can poke this corner, right? You can poke, let me just show you guys. You can poke this corner right here if you want, or you can try and like knock down this tree and sit in here. Like, it just doesn't work the same though. There's not an equivalent bush, and I think the way Wargaming thinks of this is, well, this spawn can take this area of the map first and control this area of the map, and they have direct control over the valley or the pit here. I call this the pit of death or the pit of doom, because every time you go out here in a light tank, you usually end up dying. But maybe that's how Wargaming sees it. They see that there's an advantage here, but I'm pretty sure Skill for LTU or Klaus Kellerman, one of these guys, put a video out that showed the win rates of each map from each spawn, and I'm almost certain that the southeast spawn had like a 55% or 54% win rate or something like that on this map, maybe even 53, but anything above 50%, or I would say maybe 51%, would be, to me, like, this is mind-blowing, right? Like, you guys need to look at this, because there's a big imbalance. Think of how many games are played a day on Mountain Pass, and if you have a 51-49 ratio, that means a lot more games are being won from a certain spawn compared to the other one. So just something to note for you guys. And again, people can look at this how they want, but I think everyone will agree that on Mountain Pass you have that clear disadvantage from the southeast spawn. Moving on, we're going to start brawling here, guys, what I call, brawling, aka distracting, right? But we're going to do it here, and in this vehicle, you can hit people for, what, 240 with the heats or the APCRs, so I feel like it's pretty effective, and the pen is pretty good as well. So I'm able to hit the actually I missed that shot on the T28 Proto, but I think I hit one of them. I think I'm hit this one, yeah. So hit that one into the side of the turret, and watch how I can kind of use these trees to my advantage. See how I'm doing this? I'm not actually getting spotted here, and then I can take a shot at the VK, and this, when I take the shot, I am lit through the trees, because I'm close enough for that to happen. However, spotting, I can actually spot these guys and get the initial shot off without getting lit. So that's just something to keep in mind, right, guys? Again, my spotting circle for some reason got messed up here. I didn't even run this video back, because if I did, my W&8 and marker for the marks of excellence would also be messed up. So I don't know what happened to the view range circle on this one. These replays get really buggy, guys, so just ignore that. I don't know why that happens, but it does. But yeah, we were getting pretty close to 3 marking this thing. I got up to like 93.5%, and then I started going down. I had a really good run. I was having really good teams, and then I started going back down again. And 3 marking tier 8 vehicles is very challenging. For some people, they might say it's easy, man. Like, these guys, I guess, have no life and play World of Tanks so much that they're that good. I'm not that good, guys. But 3 marking a tier 8 light tank is pretty challenging. You have to be very, very, very consistent with your spotting damage and your damage as well in order to 3 mark really any light tank. But at tier 5 it's pretty easy, like for me anyway. Once you get up to this tier 6 and up, that's when it becomes a little more tricky to 3 mark. But we're going to keep going after these guys. I'm going to go around the corner. I want to always grab a different angle from where my teammates are, just so it assists at crossfire, right? You always want to work the angles. And I'm going to come up to the Scorpion. I was going to ram this guy. I do ram him. But what happens here, and this really annoyed me, is the Ferdinand took this shot into the Scorpion. Not at all his fault, but the Ferdinand took this shot into the Scorpion the moment I rammed the Scorpion. So I took the ramming damage, but I didn't get the ramming damage. Sometimes that happens in World of Tanks. I don't know why. It's like, you would think if I received ramming damage from him that I would get the ramming damage, but somehow the Ferdinand was able to get the damage first and clean him up. So that's the way it worked. I feel like if I'm taking the ramming damage, I should always be receiving the ramming damage, but I shouldn't have rammed the dude anyway, because I took like 579 HP I lost from doing that. But it is what it is. Like, I was willing to get that extra damage, and here we go, guys. We're at almost 4K combined. I'm poking this corner very carefully against the Lancing, because I know he was sitting around that area, right? And Charioteer is going to come up here. We're going to put a shot to him, and now the RHM is back here, and what I'm going to do is grab this rock immediately. I like to sit behind this rock when this situation happens, because you get a really good shot at this corner from here, like so. I do bounce the lower plate of the Skoda T56, or perhaps that shot didn't go exactly where I aimed. We come up this hill here, and we actually spot the RHM, so we get another 587 spotting, so we're at 4,400 spotting. And eventually we're going to come down around, clean up the Skoda. In fact, I believe it's the Charlemagne that cleans up the Skoda, or however you say this tank. I come around the corner here, I'm playing that distracting role. He puts 1 into me, puts 2 into me, and I go down. But now this guy's on reload. WZ and Charlemagne can YOLO this guy, and that's the game, guys. So again, Mountain Pass is one of those maps where you're gonna have corridors, right? Like, that's really the way this map works. It's a corridor. It's strictly a corridor map, and this free replay camera gets so buggy, guys. Like, I love the free replay camera, but you have to kind of open it a couple times sometimes. And just pause it here. Okay. Nope, I still can't go up. There we go. See, it's just really buggy for whatever reason. But I want to show you guys just the center of this like bowl here, this pit of death, pit of doom that I like to call it. But look at this map. You can see how much, how much it's a corridor map, right? Like, it's strictly a corridor map. And what you have, let's just go all the way over here. You might not be able to see it super well on a phone because we're going to be pretty far away from that spawn. But I'd like to give you guys an entire overview of this map. So let's do something like this. And what you have is you have a corridor going this way. You have a corridor coming around this way. And then this is where your brawl happens, like right here. And these guys sit right here. So this is one brawling zone. And then you'll also have tank destroyers that might poke up like here and sit here as well and do this, right? So you have that. That's one zone. Then you have another brawling zone when you come around this way. So you have this over here, and you have people that come around like this, and you have another brawling zone right here. Brawling zone, Brawling zone. And then you have this pit of death in the middle, and this is kind of where you can get the initial. We sat right here in this bush. This was my initial bush that I spotted at. And you can spot people that are coming like so. And then you'll also have tank destroyers that will sit back here, right? This is like a TD zone. And then what happens is, so I'm going to clear this, so just take a quick look at this. This is how you're going to play this map. Like if you are playing a heavy tank, you either want to be over here, like over here, or over here. And if you're playing a tank destroyer, you can poke like this little area right here if you want, or you can sit by this rock and just wait for shots, you know, to go on people that are coming like this, if you have a good light tank that's going to spot it. So that's everything there. Again, brawling zone here, and then you have this giant crossing. Now, one more thing to note about this map is that you have this location right here, and this location is going to control this entire area, and they're going to have shots going this way. So another big part of this map is this little pocket here, and you can easily flank and get shots on people that are sitting over here from, you know, this spawn. Or if people decide to push this, like some people will push this and sit in this area from this spawn over here, and you will have shots, so keep that in mind. And even if they are out of render range, I showed you this trick on this map. You can actually sit right in this area and shoot this entire area just by pinging the map, and you can shoot people out of your render range. So just be mindful of that. The shots will literally go that far. So this is, it doesn't necessarily look like it from this angle, but you can get shots going all the way out like this. So this is a big area for this particular spawn to take, and I feel like it's an important part of the map. Other than that, I don't have a specific side of this map, again, like some other maps, that I feel like is the better side, right? Because I feel like you might be able to win this a little quicker, but then you have to kind of come uphill here, and you can have people that will camp sitting on the top of this hill, and people that'll sit back here and try and defend the base from this area. And then you also, if you come around this direction, right, the same thing will happen. You'll have people sitting in this area and back here to defend the base. So I feel like both sides are almost, the ease of defending, especially from this spawn, is the same for both sides. And I feel like it's pretty easy to defend the base on this map. There are some maps where it's very tricky to defend the base. Over here you have the same kind of thing, right? You have this hill here and you have these trees back here. However, I would argue that this side is easier to defend than our spawn. Just because of the way the trees are and stuff, it's easier to stay hidden, in my opinion, on the other spawn. But how you can defend this spawn is by sitting back in this corner, or you can try and like knock these trees and go solid bush right here and sit on this hill. And you can get shots of people like this, like pretty easily. You can hit people that are pushing this way as well. So defending the base on this map, if you're at the base, in my opinion, is not that challenging. And then also to defend the base from this side, like look how much of a straightaway this is. So if you have a decent light tank, you can get shots on people that are trying to push like this. If you have a decent light tank that sits like right here, maybe when this is lost, then people will get shots from here pretty dang easily, right? So then it becomes a question of, well, is the bridge a better option? And I don't think so, because this easily becomes a stalemate, because what you have is people that will like sit in this little corner and people that'll sit in this area, and they're just doing this back and forth all game until it becomes clear to push through, right? So there's just a lot of corridors on this map. You can't leave anything open, because if you leave something one side of the map open, you know, it's very easy for people to come around this way and flank. It's very easy for people to push through here and flank anybody that's in this area or over here, right? And then the same goes for the other side. You don't want to leave these sides open, because then people can push through here, and they might even try and push through the, you know, pit of doom, and they'll come all the way around, and they'll cap, or they will push this way all the way around, right? And that's just how Mountain Pass works. You have to cover all these corridors. You know, like I would say, we'll just call this corridor 1. This one's 2. This one can even be 3 here, and then you have corridor 4. You have like all these corridors on this map, and you just have to keep them all covered. I don't think any particular side of the map is more important than the other, such as on Sand River, right? Sand River is one of those maps Or rather, it's the opposite on Sand River, I meant to say. Sand River is one of those maps where I feel like the south is honestly more important than taking anything else on the map. That's just my opinion. I think once you win south, it's very easy to win the game. On this map, I don't see that. Now, anyone can have a different opinion, but truly I believe that whichever side of the map is going to win first, depending on the corridors, right? You know, or the brawling in a particular corridor, they're probably going to win the game. But just keep in mind, like, this area of the map becomes very important for crossfire, so that's not a 100% thing. It never is on any map. You could have a lot of people come this way and take like a bunch of, like, you know, even like out of render range shots over here and get a bunch of crossfire, and you might have been able to win this this area of the map, right? But because of all the crossfire, you lost all your HP. So I feel like you just have to pay attention on this map is what I'm saying. You know, this map, like, there's a lot of opportunity for crossfire, so be paying attention to that. But again, if you are in a heavy, I would suggest just try to avoid this area of the map. Like, stay up here or stay back here enough where you're in the corridor and not in this crossfire zone. And again, if you're playing a light tank, just don't rush this area. Spot the crossing from here. If you're in a light tank from the other spawn, try and take this area right here. Don't, at the beginning of the game, play around in this zone, guys. It's not worth it. You're gonna get wrecked every time you do it, especially if you go in there from this spawn. Like, it's gonna happen. You're gonna get wrecked. People will have shots on you from like up here and stuff. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. I'm telling you, like wait until the game progresses, and then you can try and mess around in here if you want. But again, always be watching for people flanking like this and like coming through here like this. Like, this is an important zone. I hope that helps you out with Mountain Pass, guys. Let's take a look at the unplates, because there's a lot of map awareness stuff. We did 5k spotting here, 1277 damage. Over 6,000 combined. We got 1,189 experience. Look at the Charlemagne dude, 2,681 damage and 6 kills with a Top Gun, right? I believe it's called. Yeah, high caliber is the most damage. So he got Top Gun here. And that's pretty much it for this game, guys. We made 40k, and again, a lot of combined score over here. Getting 5k assist on Mountain Pass is a GG in my book. It's not easy to get spotting damage. If you can milk the spotting damage from the crossing, that's really, you know, how you're going to get most of it. And then just do damage. Like, I hate to always tell people try and get damage in your light tank, but again, on these corridor maps, sometimes you got to be comfortable just, you know, getting a little bit of brawling in there, right? So that's all for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Do sub if the content is helping you out. Like and comment, you know, that helps me out. And any questions that you have, just drop them below, and I will get back to you, and I can assist you with any problems that you're having, like game mechanics, you know, map awareness stuff, light tank stuff, anything like that. I'd be glad to help you out. Catch you for the next one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.